Discovery speed at Mach 24. Altitude of 84 statute miles, 5,400 miles from the landing site. Altitude dropping at 400 miles an hour. And now, Discovery's aero control system is beginning to feel the effects of the atmosphere. In about 5 minutes, first roll command to the left began to slip off the excess speed. Discovery's altitude now 3 miles. Just under 5,000 miles to go to the runway. Again, this runway will be runway 33. Discovery coming in from the southeast. Just over 30 minutes to touchdown. Discovery speed 17,000 miles an hour, 66 miles in altitude, 4,600 miles to the runway. 27 minutes to touchdown. Discovery's altitude 50 miles. Speed Mach 24.9. 3,700 miles to the runway. Discovery in a left roll now. Space Shuttle Discovery now 25 minutes from touchdown. Altitude 47 miles. Speed Mach 24.3. 3,200 miles to the runway. Approaching the coast of Central America from a southwesterly direction to take it directly overhead of the Yucatan Peninsula on the way to Florida. 3 good auxiliary power units.
Discovery Houston with a weather update.
Yeah, comm is really scratchy.
Okay, we copy, and INCO tells me that's expected. Just to give you an update of what we're looking at, there's a small buildup that just popped up in about the last 10 minutes just south of the 3-3 hack. We're considering a redes to 1-5. We just want to look at it for another minute or two before we decide. And I've got some numbers for 1-5 if you're ready to copy.
Okay, I missed the first part of that because of the comm. Could you repeat? And we're ready to copy the numbers.
And Steve, we're looking at the weather around the SLF. There was a small buildup that just popped up in the last 10 minutes or so that's just south of the 3-3 hack. So we're looking at a possible redes to runway 15. We just want to look at it for another minute or two before we decide. There's a high overcast, so glare won't be any concern. The touchdown conditions are good at both ends, and it's very smooth at both ends. In fact, there'll be a little headwind on 15. And I have the touchdown numbers if you're ready.
Okay, ready to copy.
On 15, we're currently looking at touching down at 2400 at 2:05. It's a slight right crosswind, 6 or 7 knots or so, about 4 knots a headwind. Bloomer reports that the earliest you'll go into the clouds is about 180, and you'll be out by 9,000 at the bottom. Be about 23% on the boards. You have about 50 seconds from Mach 1 to the hack, and about a minute and 15 afterwards. Pilot flying is fine either way. You'll have a little more time on the hack, however.
Okay, we copy all those numbers. Was that left or right hack?
Sorry, forgot to give that to you. It's a left overhead 240-degree hack, and it'll be nom-nom, nominal aim point, nominal speed brake for 1-5. And again, we're not committing to the redes yet. Just wanted to give you some early words.
Okay, copy that.
Spacecraft communicator Steve Frick letting Steve Lindsay on board the Shuttle Discovery know that the team here on the ground is considering coming in from the opposite end of the runway. Runway 33 turns into runway 15 when viewed from the northeast. This being considered due to some thunderstorms that are building up in the area of the Shuttle Landing facility at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. No firm decision made. The change would mean a change in the heading alignment circle from a right turn to a left turn for Lindsay. Discovery 20 minutes from touchdown. Speed 15,000 miles an hour, 44 miles in altitude, 2,000 miles to the runway. "20 minutes to landing as Entry Flight Director Steve Stitch considers his options. Discussing the weather situation with the Spaceflight Meteorology Group here in Houston. "1,800 miles to the landing site, altitude 43 miles. Speed Mach 21. Discovery in a left roll. Currently undergoing maximum heating conditions. Speed Mach 20, altitude 41 miles. 1,400 miles to the landing runway. Discovery headed for a touchdown at 8:14 a.m. Central Time, 9:14 Eastern. as Discovery continues its return home to Earth following the STS-121 mission to the International Space Station. Expedition 13 crew aboard the station is watching the entry from on orbit. Commander Paul Vinogradov and flight engineers Jeff Williams and Tomas Ryder getting a bird's eye view of this reentry. "16 minutes to touchdown. Speed Mach 17, 38 miles altitude, 1,000 miles from the runway. Discovery passing over Belize, soon to cross over the Yucatan Peninsula on its way to the Florida Peninsula. Three good auxiliary power units continuing to provide hydraulic pressure for the aero control systems. "15 minutes to touchdown. Speed Mach 16, 36 miles up."
Discovery Houston, after looking at the weather, we do think we like 1-5 better, so we'd like you to redez to runway 15 at this time.
Copy, Houston, redes on the 15.
At 7:59 a.m. Central Time, spacecraft communicator Steve Frick telling Commander Steve Lindsay on Discovery that they would like him to choose runway 15.
Just a reminder, but we'll take channel 8 on the MLS.
We're working that. And that's complete.
Again, this will mean a change to a left-hand turn when he reaches the heading alignment circle, making a 240-degree turn to align with the runway. 14 minutes from touchdown. Speed Mach 13.7, altitude 34.5 miles, range to touchdown 667 miles. "13 minutes to touchdown. Speed Mach 11.6, altitude 32.5 miles, distance to the runway 518 miles. Three good auxiliary power units providing hydraulic pressure for the aero surfaces.
Discovery Houston, Energy, Ground Track, and Nav are go. We have you touching down 2,400 feet at 2:05.
Copy all that with an echo.
UHF just came in. We're working on the echo.
Okay, no problem.
Discovery Houston, take TACANs.
Taking TACAN.
Discovery now 10 minutes 45 seconds to landing. Commander Steve Lindsay given the go-ahead to take tactical air navigation data. Radar tracking showing shuttle is on track for a planned landing. Kennedy Space Center runway 15.
Okay. Discovery Houston, take GPS in the backup.
Copy, GPS in the backup.
Steve Frick telling Steve Lindsay it's okay to take global positioning system data in the backup mode. Supplying data to the backup flight system. 9 minutes 45 seconds to touchdown. Speed Mach 6.2. Altitude 25 miles. 214 miles to the runway. Discovery approaching Florida's southwestern coast. 3 good auxiliary power units. Nine minutes to touchdown. In about 4 minutes, we should be able to see the pilot's point of view camera looking out Discovery's forward windows. Air data probes being deployed to provide more precise navigation information. Mach 4.5. 21 miles up. 139 miles to the runway.
Discovery Houston, we did not see the right probe come out. We'd like you to wiggle the right air data probe switch.
Okay, we're checking it. Hey, we've got it in deploy, but the switch is really loose.
Okay, we copy. We're checking. Discovery Houston, we'd like you to enable stow the right probe and redeploy.
Pilot Mark Kelly on board the Shuttle Discovery reporting that a loose switch on one of the 2 air data probes.
Take air data.
Taking air data.
Discovery Houston, we'd like you to hold off on taking your data to nav in the pass.
Okay.
Discovery Houston, the residuals were up, but they're coming back down. You can keep it in auto.
Okay, going back to auto.
Five minutes, 30 seconds to touchdown. This view from the camera on top of the vehicle assembly building, looking at the Space Shuttle runway at Kennedy Space Center. Discovery on its approach. Speed Mach 1.7, 12.5 miles altitude, 68 miles to the runway.
And Houston Discovery, no joy on the right probe.
We concur. The left probe is looking good, however.
Okay, we see that.
3 good auxiliary power units. However, one of the air data probes did not deploy.
Houston, you're on energy approaching the hack. No changes to winds and weather. Your nominal shoot deploy.
Copy all, nominal shoot deploy.
Guidance officer reports that the left air data probe providing good data. Four and a half minutes to touchdown. We're receiving pilot point of view cameras out the heads-up display on the flight deck of Discovery. Discovery now traveling at Mach 1. Altitude 9 miles. Range of the runway 68 miles.
Discovery Houston, no need to respond. Just to let you know the right probe did finally deploy and its air data also looks good.
Okay, good news, thank you.
Commander Steve Lindsay now actively controlling the descent of Discovery. Speed 5,500 miles an hour, 7 miles altitude, 68 miles to the runway. Correction, 22 miles to the runway. Discovery now 3 minutes to touchdown. Pilot Mark Kelly taking a turn at the stick. Speed 500 miles an hour. Altitude 5 miles. 17 miles to the runway.
Discovery Houston on at the 180.
Roger.
Discovery on target at the 180 mark of the heading alignment circle. Commander Steve Lindsay back in control. Three good auxiliary power units. Both air data probes deployed. Speed 450 miles.
Discovery Houston on at the 90.
Roger.
Discovery on track at the 90-degree mark of the heading alignment circle. Altitude 15,000 feet. Speed 420 miles an hour. Nine miles and a minute and a half to touchdown. Again, this is a view at the heads-up display.
Copy, field in sight.
Commander Steve Lindsay reports he has the landing field in sight. Speed 309 miles an hour. Altitude 6,300 feet. .5 miles to the runway. All systems looking good as Discovery comes in for a landing. .30 seconds to touchdown. Altitude 250 feet. Gear down and locked. Main gear touchdown. Nose gear touchdown. Discovery's crew completing a 5.3 million mile mission to restore the International Space Station to an assembly-ready status and proving that they can use a 50-foot long boom as a heat-shield repair platform. We'll stop.
We'll stop, Houston.
Roger, we'll stop. Welcome back, Discovery, and congratulations on a great mission, expanding our knowledge and experience with orbiter repair and bringing the space station back to a full crew complement. We have no immediate deltas to post-landing, and we'll meet you on page 5-3.
Thanks, it was a great mission, really great mission, and enjoyed the entry and the landing, and we're going over to 5-3 now.
And this is Mission Control Houston, the Space Shuttle Discovery and its crew.
Discovery Houston for Steve. We are ready at this time for a rad reconfig on page 5-8.
Okay, copy, rad reconfig right now.
This is Mission Control Houston, the STS-121 crew of Discovery, a safely home.
We're on page 515-5.
We copy, thanks.
Houston, are you ready for the ET umbilical doors?
We're ready, Mark.
Coming open.
Discovery safely on the runway. Commander Steve Lindsay, pilot Mark Kelly, and mission specialist Lisa Nowak, Mike Fossum, Stephanie Wilson, and Piers Sellers back on the ground. Again, after a 5.3 million mile mission to the International Space Station.
You did great.
All three auxiliary power units working well. No changes to the post-landing.
Ammonia controller alpha to sec on.
We concur, Steve, and we're ready for that at this time. We like the temps.
No changes to the post-landing configurations for Discovery's crew. Mechanical Systems Officer reporting he didn't see any differences in the performance of Auxiliary Power Unit 1, which had exhibited a minor leak throughout the mission. Discovery's crew now in the process of safing the vehicle systems. All systems working well on Discovery's landing today, with the minor exception of one of the two air data probes that did not want to deploy immediately. Discovery landing on Kennedy Space Center's runway 15 after a late change in the designation of runways. Due to some late building clouds in the area of the runway.
Discovery Houston for Mark. As I'm sure you know, hydraulic load test will not be required today.
Roger, not required. I'm complete with the umbilical door opening.
We copy, thanks.
And Houston, if you concur, I'll set the body flap.
Discovery Houston, we're ready for the body flap, Mark.
And Houston, body flap set.
We copy.
Copy. And Houston, do you want the right probe back to deploy?
Discovery Houston, we concur. Right probe back to deploy.
Copy. Houston, RJDs are off site, had strike, shoot, and landing gear safe.
We copy, thank you.
And you have go for Ops 9?
We're still checking, it'll be 1 more minute.
Okay.
Discovery Houston, Steve, you have a go for Ops 9 transition.
Copy and work. And Houston, if you like the NBAT, we'll go over to Ops 9.
We like the MBAT. Discovery Houston, your go for SSME repo and the speed brake repositioning on the bottle of page 5-7 will not be required.
Copy, Houston.
And this is Mission Control Houston with a good up-close look at the aft end of the Space Shuttle Discovery following today's landing at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Discovery got right into a smooth landing at the end of a 5.5 million mile mission to the International Space Station. Commander Steve Lindsay completing his 4th flight, and pilot Mark Kelly and mission specialist Piers Sellers completing their 2nd flight. Lisa Nowak, Mike Fossum, and Stephanie Wilson all have 1 full space flight and landing to their credit now. It was a touch-and-go decision on the deorbit burn today, with weather forecasters waiting up to the last minute with Flight Director Steve Stitch of the entry team to make the call. And even after the deorbit burn had occurred, on the way to the landing site, flight controllers decided to switch runways. Instead of landing on runway 33, they went to runway 15 because of some clouds that were building in the area. Discovery made a 240-degree left-hand turn around the heading alignment circle before coming in for a smooth landing at Kennedy Space Center. Commander Steve Lindsay and the rest of the crew now in the process of safing the vehicle.
Discovery Houston, stand by on doffing, Steve, for just 1 second until we get clearance from the ground assessment team. But for Mark, you have a go for APU hide shutdown.
Roger, go for APU hide shutdown. And Houston putting PCS activation, deactivation at work. Or actually, I'll wait till you call me on that.
Yeah, we copy and concur with waiting just a little bit.
Houston Discovery APU hide shutdown is complete.
We copy, thanks. Discovery Houston, we're still waiting on the ground assessment for doffing suits, but at this time we can give you a go for extended power up. And for Steve, you can work GPS power down if you'd like on page 5-10. Just hold off on TCS deactivation.
Okay, we'll hold off on TCS deactivation, put GPS power down and work, and head over to extended power up.
This is Mission Control Houston, crew on board Discovery shutting down the auxiliary power units that provided the hydraulic pressure for the flight control systems during entry, and getting ready to power down the global positioning system antennas.
Houston Discovery, you ready for the post-landing MPS reconfig?
Discovery Houston, Mark, you are go for the post-landing MPS reconfig.
And work.
And this is Mission Control Houston. It's about time to begin our entry replays from Kennedy Space Center in Florida.
Discovery Houston, you are go to doff suits.